Hi everybody, Leanne Aker here of Aker-Fit, Nutrition, Fitness, and Life. And I'm going to come to you today and talk to you a little bit about chronic stress and what to do about it. If you don't know who I am, I'm a nurse and I help nurses form a foundation for life of health, vibrancy, peace, serenity, and so that they can live a fulfilled life. That's what I do. Simply because for myself, I've been a nurse for about over 20 years to 23, 24, something like that. And I have had a hard time myself with stress and the effects of stress in my life. I've been overweight, I've been addicted to drugs and alcohol, I've been had problems with mental health. I've had issues with a lot of different things, and I have found a way out by having a foundation that basically addresses all 5 of these things in my life. And today I live a happy, balanced, peaceful, vibrant life. And I would like to show other nurses, especially. I think anybody can benefit from this, but I'd like to show my fellow nurses just simply because it's a tough job. And we all came to this, I think, as a passion and felt a calling. And it would be really nice to feel good about that and to feel good about ourselves. And something that has happened is that we've forgotten how to care for ourselves. And these 5 things to kind of overcome chronic stress is actually all about taking care of yourself. That's all about what this is. And I'm not gonna go into all 5 of them in detail. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like 5 different videos. But this one, I'm just gonna tell you the 5 things and just a little bit about them to kind of encourage you to come back and learn more about these things. Okay. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna define chronic stress. So stress is actually a good thing in our lives. When we stress our muscles, when we exercise, our muscles actually grow. When we stress our brain and we're studying and working hard to learn something new or create something new, then our brain grows and gets used to that new skill and we learn a new skill, right? So stress is actually a good thing in our life. But as we know, most likely, is that when stress becomes chronic, it turns into things like depression, anxiety, obesity, addiction, and it can be difficult to get over those things and to get through those things. And it's very, very easy to lose ourselves. It's very unfortunate, but it happens. And we get paralyzed with fear, okay? So in order to overcome those things, if you found yourself there, if you're depressed a little more than you want to be, if you're anxious about things, that you're worried all the time and scared all the time, there may be some things that you can take care of for yourself to help those things. Now, if they've gotten to a point where you're having nervous breakdowns, you've got disease states like diabetes and heart disease and those sort of things, because that can happen. If you're there, please go see a doctor, please. But what I am talking about is if you're still to the point where you're searching for an answer, then here are some things that you can try. Okay, so the first thing that I've used in my life is habits. And we all have habits. We all know we have habits, right? We brush our teeth every morning. We get up and hit the alarm clock every morning. We smack it off or smack our phone or whatever it is. and we get up out of bed, that's a habit, right? We drive, that's a habit. The cue is we stick our key in the ignition, and the next thing we know, we're driving, right? So those are habits that we have. We have effective habits and we have ineffective habits. And unfortunately, your brain loves habits and your brain uses habits. And the reason why your brain uses habits is because I have this picture on my website of the brain, and there's like lights and motion and things going in and out of the brain, in and out of the brain, in and out of the brain all the time. And I like that visual because to me, that's what our brains are like. We're constantly thinking and all that kind of stuff where, oh, I'm hungry or I want something to drink while I'm talking about habits, right? So all of those things are going through our brains all at the same time. So in order to organize those thoughts in our brain uses habits. It's actually a loop of data in your brain that when something happens, when it's cued to do something, like you put the key in the front door, then your brain goes, oh, okay, we're going inside the door, we're unlocking the door so we can go inside. And that's what you do. You just automatically unlock the door. You don't have to think about how to do it or anything, right? And so, like I use the example of brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth is a good one because, it becomes something that we don't have to think about. Like how many times have you been walking out your door and you run your tongue over your teeth to see if you brushed your teeth, right? And sometimes you go back inside, right? So that's an example of something we don't think about. So easy to conclude this, we can actually get into habits that are bad for us without even or ineffective. I try not to use those words bad and good. I try to use ineffective and effective, okay? So we get into those things that are ineffective in our lives. And so what we have to do in order to figure out what we're doing already is do an inventory. So every day we're gonna wake up, we're just gonna do an inventory of the natural habits that we do every single day so that we become aware of them and so that we can label them either effective or ineffective. And then we can build a morning routine. I love to start with an effective habit of a morning routine. The reason why is because everybody already has one, and if you have an effective, everything you do in the morning sets the tone for everything that happens during your day. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed that if you get up late, you're behind the 8 ball all day long? You don't get to a point, maybe you do, for me it's like noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that you're finally on track again, right? And so what we need to do is make our morning routine as effective as we can to get through our day as effectively and productive as we want to be, right? And to get the things accomplished that we want to accomplish. So that's what number 1 is about. Habits, and it's actually 2 parts. We're going to do an inventory and then we're going to do a morning routine. And we're going to go into that a little bit more later on. Number 2 is control. It's a natural human instinct. How to tell the difference between the things we can control and the things we can't control. This is so magical, you guys. I love this tool because something that I've realized as I've gotten older and as I have tried to improve myself and to be the best person that I can be is that when I'm getting twisted up about something, like traffic, it's a perfect example. So I'm going down the highway and somebody cuts out in front of me or cuts over or whatever, and it scares me, and I like let out a stream of cussing or whatever it is. I get angry about it, and then I get all worked up and all nervous and everything. And there's no need to do that because I have no control over it. So now when I realize that I'm getting twisted up about something, I stop myself and I go, what am I trying to control? And every once in a while, it is something I can control. And so it's important to differentiate those things so that we respond correctly. Because that anxiety reaction is just not necessary sometimes. But it's automatic because our brains are built to protect us. And when we get upset about something, when we shout out something, then our heart starts racing, and then we're like shaking all over and we're all upset. And if we would stop ourselves before all that escalates, anxiety would stay down where it belongs. So that's why this helps. If you can't control it, you just need to let it go. If you can control it, then you need to respond to it in the way you need to take care of it, right? Let me give you a quick example about this, and then I'll move on to the next one. So I was going down the highway one day on my way to work, and I ran out of gas. And I looked down at the gas gauge, and I was like, crap. And I was like, man, I need to get over. So I go and I figure out, thank goodness I was going the speed limit, because the car just literally drifted for a little while. And it coughed, and it actually died, but it kept going. So I was grateful for that. And so I just turned on my signal, and I was in the middle of the lane on the highway, and I just happened to be able to have free reign to just pull over. And I just drifted as far as I could on the shoulder and got off of the shoulder. I was in a very safe place, right? And of course it's daylight. I'm on my way to work at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, right? And so I pull over, and immediately I realize that I'm shaking so hard, and I can't even think of what I need to do. And at first I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, and that made it worse. So I was like, look, okay, amygdala. I call my brain. So the part of your brain that does this fight or flight thing, is called the amygdala. So I talk to amygdala all the time. And so I was like, whoa, amygdala, we're okay. We are absolutely fine. We just need to make a phone call and get some gas. We are safe on the side of the road. And I took a few deep, easy breaths, and the anxiety was gone, and I got to doing what I needed to do, which was I could have control over the situation by calling somebody for help to bring me some gas, right? But without being able to do that, I can't even think straight. I can't even figure out who to call or anything like that. So when I got that anxiety under control, then I was able to just do what I needed to do. And I called work and I told them, and I got to work and it was a good day, and people were like, well, sorry you had such a rough day. And I'm like, I didn't have a rough day. I had a minute where I ran out of gas because I didn't go buy any. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's something that I didn't have control over. So therefore, why get upset and why let it ruin my day? So that's just a great example of how we can take control of things or not take control of things. And it helps us to respond to the situation in a much better way for us, right? Just have compassion for yourself. And it just makes life so much easier, and that cortisone and everything stays under control, okay? So the next one is human fuel, eating and drinking. And these two are actually combined with the same tool, But I separated them because eating and drinking and exercise and movement are two big categories, right? So we have to kind of do that. But something we don't think about when it comes to eating and drinking, what we think about all the time is how many calories, how many macros are we eating, what are we eating, what kind of diet are we on today, what blah, blah, blah. But what we're not thinking about is how food is affecting us, right? How it's affecting our sleep, our hunger, our mood, our energy, our cravings. It's affecting us. The food that we're eating and the movement and exercise we're doing are affecting these things. And our body is giving us feedback, biofeedback, through the way that we sleep, if we're hungry, what our mood is, our energy, and our cravings. If all 5 of these things were under control, don't you think that you would feel better? That you would get more done? That you would think about food less and get things done better and be more productive at work? If you didn't eat something that took your brain power completely away at 9 o'clock in the morning and then you were toast until lunch, wouldn't you think that this would work better? This kind of plan would work better? And the other thing is food and exercise. Same thing. I am not, actually I wanted to say movement and exercise, okay? I am not slamming exercise, but research has shown us over and over again that normal everyday movement is much better for us than 1 hour of exercise in the gym, right? So we go to the gym 1 hour of the day and the rest of the time we're sitting at a desk, or in the case of my floor nurses, a lot of times you're not sitting a lot, but maybe you're moving too much and not taking breaks, and that in itself also can hurt you, okay? So too much, too little movement and exercise, and the right types of movement and exercise at the right times can help you keep your hormones regulated, which will keep this under control, and you'll be happier and more fulfilled and more have more energy to do the things that you want and need to do, okay? So, and the last one is accountability. And for years, you guys, I think I started this out talking about the things that happen to us because of chronic stress. And, it leads us to addiction and anxiety and depression and mental health problems and all of those kinds of things. That was like the first 15 years of my career, you guys. I have always been, nursing came easy to me because I was a medic and a paramedic in the Air Force. And so nursing, especially the skills part of it, really came easy to me, okay? So, I've always had a pretty easy time when it came to being a nurse. But I have been fired from jobs because of my attitude, okay? I had a boss look me straight in the eye when she was firing me and said, "You are one of the best nurses I've ever worked with, but there is something wrong with you." And what was wrong with me was that I was the victim of chronic stress. And all of those things were happening to me, okay? I was angry with everyone around me. I was, some of the time, I've been in recovery now for almost 20 years. So in my early career, I was a victim of addiction. I drank alcohol and took drugs, and that is not conducive to having a happy, fulfilled life. And that's what happened to me. And that was like the first 15 years of my career, pretty much. It's been kind of this steady uphill climb for me. It's not like all of this is just going to happen like magic and change it all. But now it's like I am sailing upwards, because I have these things as a foundation of my life. And that brings me to accountability. I don't know about you, and I don't know where you're at in your life, but I know for me, when I was struggling with this, at the height of struggling with it in my early career, I was not very happy with myself, and I was not very nice to myself. I talked crap to myself all the time, and I was so mad because I could not seem to treat people the way I wanted to treat them. I couldn't seem to be joyful or accountable in my life, and most of all, I wasn't accountable to myself. I would make promises to myself that I'll change this, that I'll lose weight, that I'll go on a diet, that whatever it is, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get healthier, I'm going to get happier, I'm going to do these things, and then I wouldn't. And then I wouldn't understand how to even do them. So I wasn't accountable to myself. We need to be accountable to ourselves and be compassionate with ourselves, to be able to tell ourselves what we do that's right and what we did today for those families and those patients that we did was right, instead of standing in front of the mirror or not even doing that, because we won't look ourselves in the eye, instead of just shaming ourselves and telling ourselves everything that we did wrong. We've got to tell ourselves some of the things that we did right and be accountable to ourselves. Did I check off my list today? Was I kind to everyone today? Did I bring the laughter? Did I laugh with my coworkers? Did I help my coworkers when they needed help? Did I take my breaks and take care of myself instead of grump at people when I was so tired I couldn't stand it, right? It's those things. So this is a tool, I call it the accountability mirror. It's actually something that I learned in early recovery from alcoholism. It's something that I learned then. It's a 20-year version because I've been doing it for a long time, and it has evolved. And I stand in front of the mirror and I talk to myself out loud about the things that I did that day. And it's an inventory. It's just like this one, this inventory up here. There's no judgment about your habits, none whatsoever. We're just trying to figure out what was effective and what was ineffective. Same thing. Am I accountable to myself? Did I bring them joy? Was I kind to everyone that I could be kind to today? Did I do the things that I set out to do, that I set my intention for in the morning? Did I do those things today? If I didn't, how can I do better tomorrow? That's it. No judgment, no nothing. And then I usually tell myself that I love me. I love you, Leanne. You're cool. Because I feel that way these days, And I think that that's one of the most important things that I do on a daily basis that keeps me coming back for more, because I'm enjoying life today and I'm enjoying learning new things and growing. So that's it for these 5 things. I'm going to come back probably on a daily basis. It's not going to be daily. Oh, wait a minute. It's not going to be daily. But I am going to give you some daily things to do, kind of at the same, all at the same time, divided up into short videos so that you can so that you can watch those every single day. Because habits are built by doing something over and over and over again. So we want you to have something to do on a daily basis. But I will most likely, in the interest of my time, because I'm still working full-time and doing this, so in the interest of my time, I will probably just put it in some small videos for you and post it all at the same time. So you can go through it daily. All right? All right. I'll see you back here later. Bye.